Hello, Packer fans, back again with another game preview this week, taking on the Denver Broncos. We are at past the bye week, and of course, like every year, the Packers get shafted in the bye week. They either get one way too soon, or they get one way too late. There's no in between, really. I know it just that's how it works sometimes, but it really seems like the Packers get a short bye or a long bye. It doesn't work, and with their injury situation, is never helped by the bye week. But maybe this year will be different. Maybe they worked on some things because after that game against the Raiders, boy, did they have a lot of things to work on. Hopefully Aaron Jones can play this week, but if you like the video, give it a thumbs up, comment, share, all of that and more. But let's get into it. Yes, Packers play this week in Denver, Mile High against Broncos. Yes, the Broncos are terrible, but the Packers have not played well of late, so we may be somewhat more evenly matched. Now, the Packers should win on paper. They clearly have the better team, I think, and they should beat the Broncos, but who knows what's going to happen because it's any given Sunday when it comes to the Packers, especially, and they can lose any game that comes their way, and they can win any game that comes their way. A large portion of this game is going to ride heavily on Aaron Jones and whether he can play or not. I hope he can play. It's been quite a bit of time since he last played, so he's plenty of time to stretch out that hamstring, make sure it's healthy again. But who knows? It may be something that he'll just be dealing with the whole year, which is a terrible injury for any NFL player, but especially running backs. Running backs and bad hamstring, it's just a recipe for disaster. And allegedly has been. Hopefully it will be not too bad and he'll be able to play it. But let's move on to Jordan Love. Jordan Love in the game against the Raiders was bad. He was bad. Sure, he had some very beautiful throws that could have made a difference in the game if Christian Watson could have caught the ball. He dropped a couple balls, and like I said in the review of the Raiders game, Christian Watson could have gone up and tried to force a PI penalty, which was very doable, and it would have been placed at the one. But of course, he's too young, so he doesn't know how to do that yet, apparently. And yeah, it was just a couple really poorly thrown balls that ended up as interceptions. But like I said, he made some good throws. That if Christian Watson doesn't have hands of stone, the game would have ended drastically differently. But will he be more accurate? Will he? Hopefully, the offensive line will be a little more healed and ready to go. Hopefully, Elton Jenkins is able to play. I haven't heard if he's going to play or not, or if he will be able to play or not. So, but Elton Jenkins being in there would be a huge plus, especially with the ending of the season for David Bakhtiari. Which, fortunately, he got a good game out of him, but it was just one game. It's way too much money we're paying him to just play one game and then sit out the rest of the year. But anyway, wide receivers, what's going to happen? People got to be able to catch. People got to be able to catch. Romeo Dobbs wasn't targeted very much in that game, so that was a big boner. Uh, um, Devontae Wicks wasn't targeted at all. Reed got some play, had a couple catches, I believe. It just wasn't a very good. So hopefully Musgrave can finally show up to his pedigree because you look at Musgrave and he should be so much better. He is a rookie tight end, obviously, but when is he going to take that step? Obviously, hasn't taken the step in terms of the blocking scheme. Hasn't figured that out yet. It seems. He jumps off, or he has some procedural penalties this year, which has been not been good. I just think, as much as I want to see Luke Musgrave be successful this year, it may be a next year proposition where we see him take that leap. But I'm all ears for him to play better and potentially take the next step. But it remains to be seen. Against the Denver Broncos defense, this could be a open opportunity for anybody in the Packers offense to take advantage of. We've seen what the Broncos can do against. They played against a lot of bad teams, and I mean the Jets played well against them. The Bears played very well against them for most of the game. Talking about bad offenses that are just destroying the Broncos defense. The Broncos defense has shed so much. They've changed. They've turned on a dime from last year. Whereas last year the Broncos her defense was keeping them in games. Now it's like they're the direct reason why they're losing. The offense is not the problem. Let's talk about the Like I said, let's continue to talk about the Broncos for a while. Russell Wilson will need to play well, need to throw well, because the Packers, despite the Packers defense not being great, they should be able to get in and attack Russell Wilson. They should be able to force him into some bad throws. There should be plenty of opportunities for an interception here and there, maybe cause a fumble. But the Packers defensive line should be ready to attack Denver for sure. So it would behoove Russell Wilson to continue the way he's played. He hasn't played the greatest this season, but he's been pretty serviceable. Probably take him over some other quarterbacks in the league. But anyway, the Packers defense is just going to have to be good and solid. And I mean, they played pretty well against the Raiders at times. They kept them in games. They played bend don't break defense, and if it wasn't for the Packers offense sucking so much, the defense probably would have played even better. And it's just like they gave up points because the Packers offense couldn't keep them on the field ready and playing. And hopefully that'll change this week. Like I said, it's going to be a big game for the Packers. I mean, yes, they're playing the Broncos, but this is the kind of game in the season that can determine whether your season goes to potentially do a playoff spot or to the top 10 in the draft, which honestly, if they can't beat the Broncos, I don't see any hope for the playoffs, to be honest. As bad as the NFC is, they can't beat the Broncos, boy. Yeah, it's going to be a long season, but I have all the faith in the world that the Packers can win this game. They've had plenty of time to work after the bye week. They've had a lot of extended time the past couple of weeks. They've only played like one game since or after that Thursday night game against the Lions. They've only played one game since the 29th of September. So you know, hopefully it'll be a good thing. Hopefully they got plenty of good practice in. We know Joe Barry's not going to be fired. He's going to be around for the long haul for this year. Maybe at the end of the season he will be, but not until then. And even right now, you got to agree with Joe Barry when he says it's not the defense's fault that they're losing games. It's been clearly the offense. The offense needs to be more efficient. And Aaron Jones playing will help that immensely. So hopefully he's able to play this week. That would be really nice. I mean, if not, the Packers should still be able to pull out a win against the Broncos. But like I said, any given Sunday for the Packers especially. But let me know what you think of the Packers' chances in this game. What do you think they need to do to win? Is there any possibility that the Broncos win? Of course there is. But let me know in the comments what you think. Otherwise, have a great day. And as always, God bless and go Pack Go.